happening around you in the world. It's all about developing your inner life, your spiritual life. If you've been here more than just a few weeks, you've heard talk about something we call the God qualities, right? You know what those words are. They're words that describe the ultimate power of the universe, what we call God. We also call it many other things. And many of you can probably name some of these words. They're things like joy and love and peace and freedom and beauty and creativity and abundance and harmony, and that's just to name a few. But these are such important words to know that we did an entire service at the end of 2021 just focusing on these individual words. We did readings and prayers and meditation about these words. My entire ministry is about this. I want to do everything in my power to have you learn these words because these are the words that describe God, which is life. That means these words describe the energy that runs through your being as your life, as your breath, as your consciousness. In other words, these are the words that describe you, your truest identity, your soul, you. And here's the question. Do you know without a doubt that you are always, at the root of your being, always these big words? Your deepest self is beautiful. It's lovely and loving. It is free. It is creative. It's wildly abundant. And it's always harmonious, period. Your soul is these things. Your spirit is these things. Hard stop, period. My calling is to help you know that no matter what. No matter what. I hope you've been taught at some point in your life, if not here somewhere, the power of the words I am. We teach you here that whatever you say after you say I am are statements of belief about yourself. And when you use those words to describe ourselves, when we use them to describe ourselves to the world around us or to ourselves, those are powerful words. So many times when we say I am, we use words to describe our human experience when we say I am. When we are anchored in our humanity and our humanity only, and our identity is simply that we are human beings, we say some pretty limiting things as we declare what we are. Human beings say what? They say, I am tired. They say, I am sick and tired. I am broke. I am poor. I am stupid. I am not creative. I am frustrated. I am to this or I'm to that. I'm a victim of this or a victim of that. I aming all over the place. We simply don't realize how powerful our words are, how powerful our beliefs about ourselves are. See, what we declare ourselves to be, we experience more of. What we identify with is who we ever so definitely become. It's how we show up every day. It's how we describe ourselves and show ourselves to be. We always get to be right. If we say we are tired, we will be tired. And we will be given more and more chances to be tired. If we say we are broke, we will be broke, and we will be given more and more chances to be broke, to have that experience. If we say we are too tall or too fat, which is what I've been spending my whole life saying, if you can't tell, guess what? I get to have many situations and opportunities to live and say what I am, too tall and too chubby. The question is, what are you saying you are? And if you don't know, just look at your life experiences and your circumstances. What do they always bring to you? They bring to you whatever you say you are. So if you're going to get a spiritual goal this year, and that's what we're talking about today, a spiritual goal, your spiritual goal must be, it simply must be, to begin to see and describe yourself and speak words over yourself and your life as the qualities of God. They are inside you. So they are who you are, and you can start describing yourself that way. They are the deeper truth of that I am. So since I mentioned the chubby and tall part, I'm going to walk through that example with you. This is called vulnerability, y'all. Okay, so I must say that I have a very, very hard time describing myself as the beauty that God is. That God quality just escapes me. I can't see that on the human physical level. I've had a lot of work about that, y'all. But I was identified as unattractive as a child. I was teased as a child, bullied as a child, shamed as a child for being too tall or too chubby. Somewhere very early in life, I lost my God-given identity as beautiful. I allowed that to float away from me as a child due to the circumstances around me and the experiences I had. And I'm sure you can relate, although it might not be about that same God quality. Something happens when we are young to a person. It happens to all of us. Something happens that causes us to believe that we are not the qualities that I have named. Those some things happened to all of us because they set up circumstances of the life lessons we spend our lifetimes undoing and unraveling. I have been fighting my way back to seeing myself as the beauty of God my whole life. Let me explain. So my lifetime went something like this. I spent my young childhood and adolescence feeling less than beautiful. I was always taller than most of the boys and all of the girls, right? I was always too tall. It's just the way it was. And I was treated as the chubby child in my family, in my church, in my social circles. It was who I became known to be. I was tall enough for basketball, but I couldn't see myself as muscular or athletic, mostly because I was afraid of someone seeing my body at all. So I didn't want to get out there and dribble a basketball. I spent the rest of my adult life feeling either invisible or unattractive. My whole adult life, I would never describe myself as beautiful. And when others noticed something beautiful about me, I just couldn't hear it. We talked about that in a Sacred Cup this morning. I just couldn't hear it. I would roll my eyes. I would question their sanity. I would feel shame or somehow withdraw from that mirror saying that to me. I couldn't see myself in it. And because misery loves company, I surrounded myself with other people who also felt bad about their appearance. They too had their own childhood wounding situations. So around them, I could look in the mirrors of human judgment about appearances my whole life. Person after person, relationship after relationship, situation after situation confirmed my belief that I was not beautiful. That word beauty had nothing to do with me. But what happened? What happened is I found spirituality. I found a place that taught me that I was spirit in form. I began to learn that the God qualities and hear that they had something to do with me. I heard the word beauty, and because I was beginning to crack that wall that I had built between myself and love, I had a brand new lens of self-love, and I could hear the word beauty as remotely possible for me. So 5 years after cracking that wall between myself and love, I lost about 30 pounds, and I've never weighed that much again since 2006. So for the past 15 years, I have been crawling back toward that God quality of beauty. I began to take better care of my body. I enjoyed exercise more. And recently I radically changed my eating 3 years ago. I've spent 15 years reclaiming the idea that I am beauty. And now Now I am surrounded by people who are quick to point out the things that they find beautiful about me, and I can hear them and I can smile. And if you know me, I say, thank you for seeing me that way. I found my tribe who sees me as my highest self, who reflects back to me a higher version of myself. Terry and I were sitting outside last night. That's what spurred this whole talk, y'all. She was looking at a photo on her phone of me, and she said, "You are just so beautiful, Laine." And I replied, "Very." Nice. For several months, when either one of us says something complimentary about one of our own blind spots, and you know what I'm talking about, such as the statement of me being beautiful, instead of refuting it, instead of brushing it aside or being a smartass, we are asking each other to just say, "Very." It's kind of a sort of, tongue-in-cheek way of saying, I agree, but I just can't quite feel it yet. I can't own it, but that's another step in my healing. So where this talk came from is that after we had that exchange about my being beautiful, I really thought about the fact that beauty is a God quality that I haven't been able to say after the words, I am. I have gotten better and better about hearing it from other people, glimpsing it in myself and believing it on some level. So I have a new spiritual goal. My spiritual goal is to be able to use the word beautiful whenever I am listing appropriate adjectives when someone asks me who I am or when I ask myself that question. My spiritual goal is to be able to identify myself as beauty in form. And an even bigger spiritual goal is to be able to use every single God quality to describe myself with my creative words, I am. I'm getting there, slowly but surely, and it's taken me 21 years, 15 on beauty, 21 on some others. And I can truly see some of the God qualities and say I am. I can say I am joyful, I am peaceful, I am loving, I am free, I am abundant. I know I can say those words because my life shows up like that. I show up in the world as those words the vast majority of the time. My choices and my actions reflect that I know myself to be those things. My life experiences show me those God qualities. They can follow the words I am, and then I can draw to myself lots of opportunities to claim and experience and choose those particular God qualities. But guess what? All of them belong to me. All of the words belong to me as my birthright. I have a spiritual goal to claim them and live them and have all that poured over me in miraculous blessings and synchronicities. You want to know the ones I still need to claim on a deeper level in order for them to follow the I am? I've still got to work on claiming beauty. I already said that. I'm getting close, still not there. I also still want to work on the word creativity and harmony. I know they're the truth of who I am, but I can't embody them all the time just yet. But that's just me. What is yours? What is your spiritual goal going to be this year? What God quality would you like to fully heal enough to have in every area of your life as we go through this year, looking at the spokes of your life? What word do you most deeply need to be able to say after the words, I am? To be able to experience fully in your daily life, to be able to give to others freely and have it flow back to you, multiplied abundantly, just as we say every week in our conscious giving affirmation. What I send out returns to me abundantly. What is it? What is it? That's what I've been talking about since the first Sunday of the year, when you might have picked a white stone word and wrote it down. And if you didn't do that this year, by the way, and you still want to have that experience, I'm thinking about doing a makeup white stone ceremony so some of you that missed that day could get your word, your holy word, your spiritual goal. But anyway, if you have one, great. Use it for this spiritual goal. If it isn't a word I named, it's okay. Use the one Spirit inspired you to write on the stone. And remember when I talked a few weeks ago about mastering what matters? I think most of you were in the room. I told you that week that if you want to master something, if you want to be able to point to something and know that you're known for that, you're one of those people, you need to identify your goal, figure out how you can learn more about it, get lessons or more information, and then start practicing and practicing and practicing, and then shift to sharing what you have learned by modeling or teaching. That very same process you learn to master a language or a sport or a musical instrument, it's the same thing in mastering a spiritual goal. You're here. Welcome to where you can learn more about your spiritual goal. Here, you can spot a number of people who are also learning to identify themselves as more and more as their spirit or their souls, practicing using the words over their lives, stepping into receiving feedback and mirroring that they are those words, and eventually learning to say, I am, with a greater degree of confidence and comfort. Here you can look around and see people embodying the God qualities and receiving the blessings of participating in that law of circulation that's always happening. They're sending peace out into the world and receive it back so much that they describe the majority of the moments in their life as peaceful, or putting beauty out into the world and seeing the beauty in others, experiencing a flood of beauty all around them. They're modeling and they're teaching. But guess what? This isn't the only place. This isn't the only place you can learn about your God qualities. Find places in your world where you can learn more about peace and joy and freedom and love and abundance and harmony and creativity and all of that. Find people to teach you and model for you. Find people and circumstances where you are encouraged to see yourself as your goal, because with those people, you know you are a spiritual being first. Find people and circumstances and experiences to help you remove whatever barriers there may be to seeing yourself as that quality of God. And when your spiritual goal is chosen, define it. You know, what other words would you use to decide? What other words would you use to decide if someone else is living your word? For example, since my word is beauty, I would ask myself, what does it take for me to call someone else beautiful? Because guess what? I need to know that. Because if that is the standard I am using in my judgment, I must either let the adjective go or apply it to myself and do whatever it takes to see that adjective in myself. Do you see what I'm saying? So before I started healing this, I would say that in order for someone to be beautiful in my eyes, they would have to be in a right-sized body, have beautiful hair, have good muscles, etc., right? But after really questioning my judgments over several years, did I say it's been 15 years? It's been 15 years, y'all. So I've been questioning my judgments about this, and I've realized that I know many, many people that I consider beautiful, who have a multitude of original, unique bodies. Some of them don't have any hair at all, not looking at anybody, and they have no muscles to speak of. So how do I see them as beautiful? What is my deeper criteria for beauty? Now I see beautiful people as radiant, healthy, self-confident, flexible, loving, kind. So many other words make someone beautiful to me. Oh, those words are evidence of self-love and self-esteem. Oh, that's what beautiful is. Now I can look beyond my physical body and see myself as radiant, healthy, self-confident, loving, and kind, and all those other words. Beauty. Beauty. I've spent my whole life judging beauty as being something physical instead of something spiritual. Every single one of you are beautiful, y'all. I see you that way because I can see myself that way. Do you get it? Right? The truest experiences of God qualities are not human ego level stuff. They're deeper than that. Therefore, nothing about your human self can block you from seeing yourself and saying that I am with any degree of truth. Nothing you have ever done or experienced on the human level separates you from any of the God qualities. It's a human illusion, part of the lesson. The trick is you've got to look beyond the appearances of what is happening in your life. Your circumstances reflect your identity at some point, but if you can look beyond them and say, even in spite of this right now, I know that I'm beautiful. I see with my five senses the opposite of beauty. I see all my judgments. But if I can somehow look beyond my judgments and have faith that the bigger truth of me is there somewhere, if I can transcend the temporary effects of my thoughts and in faith see something higher, I can heal. Let's take abundance for a second. Maybe that was one of y'all's words. If your human circumstances are causing you to say something, those disempowering words after I am, like I am broke or I am limited or whatever, and that is your experience, look beyond the current situation and see that your soul has access to the resources of the universe. You are unlimited in every way. We all know people who are rich beyond imagination with so much money, and they identify themselves and they live as miserly and stingy. You know those people, right? Doesn't have anything to do with the human level, y'all. It's a spiritual level thing. Your abundance, just like my beauty, is so much bigger than that. Our judgments are limited to the human level, and we must rise. But I couldn't see myself as beauty until I could start seeing every other person as beautiful. I couldn't actually experience my own beauty until I started running the energy of beauty in my life, and you've got to do that with your word too, whatever it is. You can choose to see yourself as the God qualities. You can own them. You can live them. Give them and receive them if you can see yourself as a spiritual being. That's your spiritual goal, to see yourself as a spiritual being and to identify yourself that way first and foremost. And I invite you to ask Spirit, ask your soul to guide you. Do that in prayer. Eric Butterworth wrote this book called Discover the Power Within You. And he wrote this: prayer is not something we do to God, but to ourselves. It's not a position, but a disposition. It's not flattery, but a sense of oneness. It's not asking, but knowing. It's not words, but feeling. It's not will, but willingness. Eric Butterworth is a phenomenal spiritual teacher. Get the disposition of oneness with God. No spirit is what breathes you and lives as you. Feel it and be willing to let it be your identity. That is prayer. Spending time in that disposition is what prayer is. Allow God and other people to help you see yourself as your goal. Affirm that you are healed from not seeing yourself that way. Seek help to let go of your human measuring stick. Ask a practitioner or a therapist or someone or a good friend for reminders about who you really, really are. That is what we are really doing here. Let's pray together and let's assume that disposition of oneness. What I know right now is that God is, as each one in this room and listening to this lesson shows up. God is. God is beauty, therefore I am beautiful. God is love, so I am loving. God is whole, so I am whole. God is abundant, so I am abundant. I know that for myself, and I invite each person to know it for themselves. That is the goal. And so I ask Spirit to join in this moment, to make the way clear as we walk toward that God quality that would make the biggest difference in our lives. I know we leave here with greater attunement to what is ours to do, what is ours to learn, what is ours to grow and develop. And I know that as we say the words, I am, we speak higher truth over our lives and our experiences. I am. I am. Thank you, God. Thank you for showing up in this room as it always does. And so it is.